Hello, and welcome to the Kingston Live Podcast. I'm Johnny Sand. When we recorded our last podcast, we had 8 people in the studio. Riley Jabor, Peter, and I welcomed Ricky Brandt and Clint House to the show to talk about the Electric Circuits Festival. We had Allie at the desk, and Reed and Jackson were capturing material for future social media content. Flash forward a few weeks, and it's just me here. In our last podcast, we talked about all kinds of upcoming events and music videos, and since then, all of those things have been either postponed or canceled. The outbreak of COVID-19 has shut down pretty much everything apart from grocery stores and hospitals and a few other things, and the music industry isn't immune to its effects. Social distancing and the cancellation of large gatherings have halted live shows and left musicians without a key revenue stream. But in a short time, people have come up with some creative ideas to fill the void. Live streaming has quickly gained a lot of attention as an alternative to in-person live concerts. And one of the people leading this initiative is K-Rock 105.7 evening host Eilish Sullivan with Kingston's first online festival, Indie Night in Quarantine. Today, Eilish joins me via Zoom.
Hi, how's it going?
And we have Oakridge Avenue singer and guitarist Sean Patterson.
How's it going?
And singer-songwriter-guitarist Logan Brown.
Hello.
Hello, friends. So nice to have you all here, finally.
Thanks for
Good
having
to be
us.
back, sort of.
Yes,
I
Sean...
don't think any of us are used to this.
No, that's cool. Yeah, the delay is funny, but we'll get used to it. Yes, Sean's a veteran, an alumnus of Kingston Live. Eilish, Logan, we're all friends, but it's nice to have you on the podcast. Thank you for being sort of
Nice
here.
to be here. Thanks for having us on. Yeah.
So let's talk about this live streaming. Like for me, when this sort of came about, I guess last week by the time of this recording, and I find I'm always kind of the pessimist. I heard about this and I'm thinking, well, the best part about live music is it sounds cool, it looks cool, and there's even a tactile kind of component. You feel the music, right? So when I heard about this, people live streaming live performances, I was a bit skeptical, but over the last week, there's been all kinds of them, and they're a lot of fun, and it's really cool. And I think a big part of it is kind of that interactive component to it. Logan, I'm going to start with you and put you on the spot. Because you've been very interactive. And what's that been like for you? Because you look like you're having a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. I started doing this like I'd say like 2 or 3 months ago. I started doing it every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then obviously when I lost my job, I had to start doing it every day. It's been great. It's a totally different experience than kind of playing live, because you're kind of it's like a fan meet and greet and a performance at the same time. Again, not that I'm like some superstar or anything like that. I think the fan meet and greet is like mostly people that I've met in real life, that are my friends. But, it's a lot of fun to just kind of, I don't know, hang out. And I think when social media kind of kicked off and everybody got to meet their favorite musicians and favorite artists and favorite personalities, they got to see what they're like kind of on a personal level. I think live streaming is just kind of like, for me, the extension of that, or just kind of like step 2 or step 10, based on, how the world's evolving. The next step at this point, to just seeing and getting to interact with your favorite artists or your favorite people. That's just the way how I look at it.
Well, and it's neat to have that kind of reciprocal thing happening where you could almost argue it's more interactive than a traditional live performance, because you can sort of kind of parse all that input that's coming in. And I've seen you kind of responding to people and that sort of thing and taking requests. Yeah. I mean, that to me is kind of like the most fun. It's like you're missing the applause. Obviously the ego is really missing that clap, woo, that kind of thing. But, it's great to just kind of have instantaneous, like, reaction to something that you've done, or, somebody makes a request and you're like, hey, I can actually do that one, and you kind of pull it out, or learning stuff on the spot. And another thing is the stress behind it. Like, I practice a lot. I would consider myself like a prepared guitar player, but there's no, like, if I can't do a song
Or if I'm like, yeah, you know what, I will try and learn, lay it on the line by Triumph right now on the spot, and then it sounds awful. It's not like, there's not resounding boos because like Jim Beam is a factor in the audience. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, people just kind of get that on the spot. I just tried to learn a Triumph tune and bit off a little bit more than I can chew, but that's okay because I'm also in my pajamas and I haven't shaved and showered in weeks.
Sean, what was your experience? Was it similar? And Logan talked about the, not having the applause, but yeah, I remember you guys kind of inserted some applause sound effects just for fun there. But yeah, tell us about your experience with it.
It was great. I have to admit, I was similarly a little bit skeptical, mostly on account of not knowing how many people would want to sit down and watch us play from our living room. It ended up being quite a few, and that was really cool for us. Yeah, we did have some fun with it. It was pretty low key on our end. We just set up a single microphone and put up our neon sign and sort of just did our thing as if we were jamming, and took requests. And what you could say our producer at the time got a little creative with the audience sounds, which was pretty fun. But yeah, it was great all around. Really learning experience, but something we'll definitely be doing again.
And you mentioned the sign, and that's something I love about what you guys have been doing at the live show, is bringing out the sign, and you had the sign in the live stream performance. That's been another fun thing too, is just seeing how people kind of dress the environment for the show. Because I know, Logan, you've had some lights, and Sean, you had the sign and everything.
Yeah, you got a lot of opportunity to be creative on that front too. So it's like, to some degree, you get to design your own stage within the confines of your bedroom or living room. But
and whatever you've got lying around in your garage or something like that.
Yeah, people get to see sort of where you do your thing when you're not on stage, which is kind of cool.
Now, Eilish, you guys kind of took this and sort of organized it, I guess. Tell us about how that came together and what inspired that.
Well, pretty much I was just talking to a couple of the different performers. Like I was talking to the guys from Oakridge Ave, like Sean and Logan. So first of all, guys, like, thank you so much for being a part of that, because it was a random idea that we just kind of had on Tuesday. But basically I was seeing all of these live streams from all of these huge name bands, like the Glorious Sons, of course, have been putting out videos, just like really big groups that were obviously getting a ton of attention for it. And I wanted to do something like that for our local scene, because we have so many incredible performers here that deserve that level of attention. But like Sean said, they weren't necessarily sure exactly how many eyes they'd get on it. So we really wanted to make a platform to just up those views, get them a few new fans, get some more people into it.
And that's been a neat thing, too. I wanted to talk about the audiences, because we've talked in the podcast before about how Kingston, the live music scene, is also very much a bar scene, which, you get a certain audience, but maybe you lose another audience. And, it occurred to me, and I'm sure it occurred to you guys, that with live streaming, it potentially opens it up to a completely different audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that things can go viral in this day and age, like, you really have no idea what's going to hit home with people. And just with the way Facebook does their algorithm and that kind of thing, it can end up reaching people you never in a million years would have expected.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have you guys, Sean, have you found that it's been kind of your regular audience, or there are people maybe that you wouldn't have seen before at a normal show?
It's definitely been a mixed bag. A lot of our, what you could say diehard fans were there with us and requesting songs and joking around in the comment section, which was really nice to see. But we definitely had some new faces in there, and lots of really positive feedback from people who'd never heard of us before but followed K-Rock, or maybe a friend of a friend of a friend recommended they watch it. A couple of my friends and relatives actually hosted their own watch parties separately for the live stream, which was pretty cool, because that brought in a whole bunch of other people as well from the extended circle. So it was really, really positive. We got, we reached basically everyone we wanted to, and then some. So, yeah.
Now, Sean, part of the reason I wanted you in on this discussion is because the album Endless Nights was originally scheduled to be released in April. Is that still the case? What's going on with the album?
That is a fantastic question. We are still currently sitting on that at the moment and trying to figure out what we're going to do. we are really hoping that we'll eventually be able to put the album out with a proper release show after things calm down a little bit. Obviously, nobody really knows when that'll be, but we're sort of taking it week by week at the moment, and hopefully we'll have a plan before too long.
Okay, so is the album release, if I'm reading you right, is it going to be just whenever you can kind of schedule a proper release show? Is that what we're waiting on then at this point?
Ideally, if it doesn't end up that way, then we'll have to improvise. We might have to do something a little bit more 21st century, but that all just remains to be seen.
Well, this whole situation has been nothing but improvising, so
Yep.
We're just going to kind of go with it. I want to get back to the music videos in a moment, but why don't we're going to play the new single, the latest single. Why don't we get to that now, and we'll come back and we'll talk about music videos and a little more about streaming.
Cool.
So this is the latest single, Sunny Ways by Oakridge Ave on Kingston Live.
With an eye on the past and one foot in front of me. In the aftermath of your honesty, where our paths cross and wind away from reality. So you remain under the blame. Try to explain, but you refrain, 'cause you know that it falls back on you again. And the nature of my hypocrisy is that I strangely don't want you to agree with me. There's a comfort in the dichotomy, where we all feel at home in our chosen family. So you remain under the blame. Try to explain, but you refrain, 'cause you know that it falls back on you again. So you remain under the blame. Try to explain, but you refrain, 'cause you know that it falls back on you again. Falls back on you again. It falls back on you again. Falls back on you again.
I think that's my favorite song by you guys. I love that song. And I remember,
Thank you very much.
like, it was several months ago, we had a little listening party right here in this room and trying to sort of figure out what the single was. That was my pick. Obviously, it wasn't picked, but yes, I love that song. It's got a lot of cool stuff happening. And now it has a music video, which is very exciting. And I love the video. Tell us about the video.
The Kingston Film Office was very kind enough to grant, I think it was 15 different video producers and artists $1,000 each to make a music video, and we were one of those bands. Jay Middaw reached out to us and said he wanted to put something together, and we were instantly down for that because we'd wanted to work with him for a while, and Sunny Ways was basically slotted to be our next single anyway, and we were brainstorming ideas as it was, so it was quite serendipitous the way that happened. But we settled on basically sort of doing a parody of The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, and it's a great video. For anybody listening, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Oakridge Ave, Sunny Ways. It's on YouTube, I'm assuming.
Yep, and we actually are also putting up a side-by-side, like shot-for-shot comparison version with the original, which is also pretty fun to watch. So that'll be available too. And
Sean and I have also shot a sort of a commentary video, I guess, kind of pointing out a lot of the little, the references and Easter eggs that you see in the video. So watch for that as well. But you guys looked like you had a lot of fun making that. And KCVI just lends itself so, I mean, who knew, but it lends itself so well to what you guys were trying to do there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jay said he did a walkthrough originally with our manager, and he couldn't believe how closely it resembled the school from the movie. So he was immediately like 10 times more excited about the project upon seeing that, and it worked out great. It was a riot to do too. We were in there for about 7 hours, running around the halls, eating, Captain Crunch sandwiches, and just generally making mayhem, which was a lot of fun.
I need to tell a little story because I think it was the Thursday, because all these music videos that you mentioned, they're all going to be shown at the Ale House, which was going to be followed by a performance by Bedouin Soundclash, which was so exciting. Everybody was so excited about it. And I remember it was the Thursday of the film festival, and I went to a movie in the afternoon. My plan was to go to the movie and then go immediately to the Ale House. I went to the movie, and as soon as I got out, I got a text from Riley Jabbour saying the whole film festival is canceled. And then I just went home and was sad for the rest of the evening. Yeah. As I'm sure many other people were. The whole thing, I mean, it was the right decision, but it was very, very disappointing. But now we're starting to see some of these videos kind of come out of the woodwork, because I don't think a lot of people knew really what to do with them. It's like, should we wait? Is there going to be another event? Nobody really knows. But yeah, yours is out. And at the time of this recording, the Meringues video, The Lottery, was just released. That was produced by Make Hay Media. That one is also lots and lots of fun. Check that out. Another one that just came out recently was produced by Tanya Trombetta with Tegan McLaren, her song We All Fall Down. That's a very different one. It's really cool. Check it out. It's got this darkness to it. But yeah, lots of really cool material. I'm really excited about this pairing of producers and musicians, despite the fact that it didn't, sort of go off the way we planned. But if you're listening, or just you guys, yeah, check these out. There's so much talent, and it's so cool to see it all coming together.
Totally.
Let's get back to the streaming. Eilish, is there going to be more of this? What's going on?
So I'm really, really hoping there's going to be more of it. We're kind of working on a plan right now. So as this is taped, we're still trying to sort it out. We're trying to make sure what the legal side of tip jars and that kind of thing, and just organizing that side of it a little bit more to hopefully get more revenue to the local acts. We're still putting out feelers. We're still trying to find those who are interested who might not have been able to participate the first time. So we are trying really hard to continue this in some way or another. We're just not 100% sure exactly how it's going to look yet.
Okay. Well, keep us posted. But yeah, you talked about supporting artists. Can anyone sort of go into more detail? Because I was talking to some people, when this was first happening. It's like there's the streaming, but how can we actually support people? Like, are there ways that people can be supported financially for all this? What's going on in that regard? Anyone?
I was about to say, I'm going to let the musicians actually take this one, because I have my ideas, but I'm obviously not on the receiving end of the support. So it might be better for Logan or Sean.
I'm going to let Logan take this one.
It's tough, right? Because for me, I feel like that should be on the artist a little bit. I mean, everybody's in a situation right now where, you know, especially, I mean, people in the service industry, people that work and are paid on an hourly wage, everybody's lost their job. So to come out and want, you know, maybe it's just my inability to be like, I don't know if like we should look at it like a musical charity or anything like that. But I think it should be up to the artist as like, hey, if Bandcamp waived their fee, for example, go buy my record. If you don't release original music, hey, go to my website where I have like these, you know, I have merch. You can buy some merch and such like that. I mean, there's always the tipping on the live streams, but that's not sustainable forever. You can start streaming from a platform like Twitch, where you actually get sponsored streams where you get paid a percentage of royalties, which is a whole another box of frogs if you want to talk about Spotify and their inability or maybe they're not wanting to pay artists a little bit more. But again, that's a whole other box of frogs. You know, there's Patreon for people that want to, you know, you pay monthly for content. Like there's a whole, it makes me frustrated almost. There's so many ways to be paid as a musician that it's almost like funny sometimes when people are like, there's no money in music anymore. And it's like, well, but there are several ways to make money as a musician. You just kind of have to be creative. I had a conversation once a long time ago with somebody that was a rep for Universal, and that not that that's like a name drop or anything, because everybody knows a rep for Universal if you live in Toronto or ever been to Toronto. But he said, music is not hard. It's just hard work. And I've stuck by that all the time. It's not like you don't need, I could be streaming into my webcam, which is it's abundantly clear that this is not a very good quality webcam, but I could be streaming into my webcam right now. I stream into my phone with no good microphone. It's half the time you hear my pet pigs screaming in the background at something. It's just people just want the content, and people do have perfection fatigue, which is something that I think is so beautiful about this new live stream craze that all musicians are jumping on. Is that it's like the rubber kind of has to hit the road. There's no more, well, I'm going to hem and haw and make sure I have the best DLSR or whatever the hell camera, or you know, the best microphone or an interface and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I don't, as of today, I have no more money coming in, so I need to start live streaming immediately. And some people are looking at it like, oh, great, another live stream. But most people, I think, are coming together and are like, okay, how do we make this thing a sustainable thing? So,
well, and that's the real question. And I like to think that this is still very new. I mean, streaming is nothing new, but streaming in this sort of capacity and at this time is very new. And I like to think that we're almost in the pioneering stage of all that. So hopefully, you know, these things and these answers will kind of present themselves in time. But I do like to think that what I like about Eilish, what you've done is it's a local thing. It's been locally focused from the start, and I like to think that, you know, we as a community will come together and figure these things out. You know, both in terms of everything else that's happening, but also on the musical side and supporting people and just supporting each other. And hopefully that will be just an extension of all the other help that's come along in the last little while.
Well, and just from the consumer side of it, because like I said, I've never been a musician. I'm totally tone deaf. But from the consumer side of it, even if you don't have any cash to spare as a listener, there are so many ways to support the bands. Like I said, even just with the algorithms and how they work, even simply just liking someone's page and sharing their stuff, it's completely free and it can help them immensely.
That's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. That's great. Yeah. So if you're listening, yeah, listen to some of these folks and give them, you know, the little thumbs up or, you know, some smiley faces and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Comments are free. So make sure to comment, share, all of that fun stuff, because it does genuinely make a difference. And
the comments are fun too. Again, I love that interactive component of it. And I think that's what's going to sustain it and keep it interesting. I was watching The Wilderness streaming a few days ago, and Jonas was mad at somebody for requesting something he didn't like. And and it was neat because it was like being at a bar. You know, we're musicians. We've all had that jerk who's like, play Freebird. And it's like, I don't, get out of here, you know. My
band made the mistake of writing a song called Shower Beer. And that gets shouted at us at literally every single show we go to. We play in Kingston, and there was absolutely no shortage of that in the comment section for our live stream. So it was, in a way, it was annoying, but in another way, it was quite endearing that even virtually, people are, they're keeping up a little bit of that flair and excitement and annoyance of the live gigs.
Well, and it's nice to know that those people are still out there, because everyone's, so isolated. And, I think it's one thing to be physically isolated, but I think a lot of people are feeling, sort of emotionally isolated as well. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually quite charming to see some of the stuff people were saying, and even the requests for shower beer.
I'm going to shout this one across the board to Logan and Sean. Sorry, Sean, I think you were going to say something too. But I'm just curious how you guys want to see this evolve, and how you want to be a part of it going forward.
I don't really know if I have anything specifically. I just want to be a part of it in some way, because it was a lot of fun, and it was great for you guys to reach out to us. Thank you for that, by the way. We got a lot more eyes than we thought we would, and it was a real surprise, and it totally sort of lit the fire under our ass about what we can do with our social media and stuff. I know Logan is much more of a veteran of that than we are, but it's definitely something we want to keep doing.
Yeah, same over here. I'm thrilled to kind of continue working, and I think I sent you an email yesterday or the day before. Like, I'll do it every Friday. I'll do it every Friday, Saturday. I mean, I'm going to be streaming every day for an hour and a half anyway. So if for 30 minutes you want to share it over to the K-Rock Facebook page, then I am more than happy to continue to do that. So
I'm pretty sure you were the first one to send me an email within like 30 seconds of me being like, who's interested?
Yeah. What else do I have to do other than sit here, learn more requests, listen to some music and live streams? So,
Well, Logan, I've always admired your work ethic, and you're always out there doing it, and you're no stranger to the online community in the musical sense anyway. So, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. No, the live streaming thing really does excite me. The circumstances as to why we're all doing it is definitely very strange. That's to say the least. But the live stream thing really does, I think, much like social media put a lot of artists kind of in control of their own destiny, and went, this is the amount of people that actually like me and are interested in what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Well, why do I need a record label? Like, why am I spending millions of dollars on a PR team if I could just make a social media post and say, hey, go check out my new record? You know what I mean? And then make 100% of, not even so much that profit, but just make 100% of that connection, that adding that value to someone's life and watching that in real time, as opposed to waiting for some, pardon my French, but some bullshit chart to tell me that I'm number one. You know what I mean? I look at live streaming the same way. I mean, I can already see, like, Michael Bublé had an hour-long live stream where he made pasta with his wife. Nobody would pay $1,000 for floor seats of cooking with Michael, but he can do it on a live stream, and then people get to see this other side of him and go, you know what, maybe he doesn't just do the Christmas thing. I'm going to go listen to some other Michael Bublé. I look at it the same way. People are going to go, maybe I don't really need a record label to kind of get so many eyes on me all the time. If I'm just doubling down on who I am as a person, maybe I'll find other like-minded people that, you know how many people subscribe to, like, I don't know, that listen to, like, Craig Cardiff just because he has a beard? It's just other bearded people are like, yeah, beards. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I think this is such a wonderful thing. I just wish it was under better circumstances.
Well, and it's not ideal circumstances, but it's nice to see that everybody's making the most of it. So, guys, this has been great. It's been a lot of fun having you here, and this sort of virtual thing kind of worked a little better than I thought too. So, This was a lot of fun. Thank you for being here. And
well, we all have a lot more time on our hands these days, so anytime you want to chat about literally anything music related, just
depending on how this plays out, we could be doing this again very soon. So we'll see what happens.
See you next week.
It was funny. Alex phoned me and he was like, when we were talking about this music video stuff, he texted me first. He was like, hey, can you call me when you have a moment? I'm like, dude, all I have is moments right now. Of course I can call you.
It just means we'll have to actually start that cat podcast that we were talking about during the break, Sean.
We may as well. Yeah, we're going to have podcasts coming out the yin yang about stuff we're not even interested in just to fill time.
Well, guys, whatever you like to do, whatever you got to do, just stay busy and stay positive.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, John.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys. I'd just like to say a few things before we wrap this up. These are pretty unusual times, and despite lots of prediction, no one really knows how this is going to play out. This is a new thing for all of us. It could be wrapped up by our next podcast. It could go on a lot longer. And everyone seems to be dealing with it in their own way. Some of us are okay, and some of us are not. And if you're someone who's struggling right now, just remember that you're not alone. Everyone in the world is in the same situation right now. Everyone's talking about social distancing, but what they really mean is physical distancing. We live in a time where we have an abundance of communication tools. If you plan to wait this out just by watching shows and obsessively checking your phone, you may have an easier time if you reach out. Set up some video chats with friends. Call somebody. Maybe someone you haven't talked to in a long time. Odds are pretty good they'll be happy to hear from you right now. Instead of finding ways to kill time, find meaningful use of time. Find something in which you can take some sense of pride or accomplishment. This could be anything from cleaning your space to learning a new skill. Unplug a bit. Relax, reflect, ponder the mysteries of the universe. And if that's not working out, give somebody a call. We'll talk to you next time. This has been Kingston Live. We encourage you to rate us on your listening platform of choice and subscribe where possible. Kingston Live was recorded in Kingston at Titan Sound. Executive producer Rob Howard. Writing by John and Peter Sanfilippo. Special thanks to Jackson Coulter and Reed Cunningham. Opinions expressed by Kingston Live guests are their own and don't necessarily reflect the opinions of Kingston Live hosts and staff. We'd love to hear from you. Email us at podcast@kingstonlive.ca.